Hey, what's up, guys? DFS 5-pack here. Mustache Matt and Ryan. In honor of Matt's mustache, here's a couple things. One, we're going to do members only free to the public today. It's Sunday. It's beautiful out in the upper Midwest. People want to watch college basketball. I want to get outside and play in the sun. So we're going to make this one tight and quick and free to the public. Give it the thumbs up video as an appreciation. We appreciate you guys. You appreciate us. The annual memberships, we're going to continue the stimulus sale. It's $150 instead of $200. That is one full calendar year. All three sports, every video. We're talking Discord, everything. One-time payment. Pay through the website, get a $50 reimbursement. If you want to pay manually, you got the Venmo and PayPal addresses below. $150 gets you 365 days, everything that we got included in it. Let's get after it today. This is a wild slate, in my opinion. Let's talk it out.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to get back into the grind with you. It is a pretty nice slate, pretty crazy Sunday night slate. So let's get after it, man. It's a good thing these games are split up today, though, because I'll say this. If all the games were together, it would be absolutely insane.
Yeah, I got to get in and make my early day lineups when we're done. I got all my contests reserved and ready to rock and everything like that. But, I don't know how you just don't go balls to the wall in OKC versus the Rockets in the opener.
Right, I'm with you.
All right, so first up, guys, we got ourselves a good one to start. We got Washington taking on Brooklyn. If my memory serves me correct, the Wizards have beaten Brooklyn twice this year already.
Your memory does serve you correct. And, yeah, for my money, easily the top game on the slate.
Look, so when I started looking at the slate this morning and I saw this game, I started to chub up a little bit just thinking about it. And it wasn't until I started looking through all the other good pieces in these other games where I was like, damn, I just can't even stack that game as much as I want. All that being said, let's just start with Brooklyn. They are getting Blake Griffin today. But, this game really starts with the studs for me. It's Harden. It's Kyrie. It is difficult, in my opinion, not to look at a James Harden today with no Kevin Durant. Coming off a terrible game where he was in foul trouble all game. He's 10-9 against Washington. It is really tough to fade him here.
Yeah, for me, I agree with you. This game starts and ends with studs. There's a few cheap value filler pieces potentially. But for me, I'll even simplify it from there. For me personally, it's all about Harden and Westbrook. I want all the Harden and Westbrook. These guys obviously left on not the greatest terms. I think this is their first time playing each other. I'm not sure, but no, it's obviously not. But sorry, I got my years confused. I don't want to say bad blood, but I expect these guys to go back and forth in what should be a really high-scoring, competitive game. I like Beal and I like Kyrie a lot. What's not to like about those guys? But you can't roster everyone, and I want Harden and Westbrook more.
I agree. They're the better fantasy players too, right?
Yeah.
Because Kyrie and Beal are both – they can both score probably just as well, if not – I won't say Kyrie can score better than Harden. Harden's just taken such a role in the distribution, but – those guys can score, but Beal and Kyrie don't do much besides score. They're not great peripheral players. I say I know the odds don't say this, but I'm kind of expect Harden and Westbrook to both triple-double today.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that call at all. So I like both of them a ton.
Yeah, the big issue here is they're only point guard eligible, right? And there's other point guards on this slate, but I have tons of interest in both Harden and Westbrook. And Russ is back to playing a man possessed. This is a guy who's now dropped 80 in back-to-back slates. So, if you go back 3 weeks ago, we're saying, guys, the 80-point gains are coming. And now we've seen two of them. Granted, one of them was against Milwaukee with no Bradley Beal, but he's got 60 in the other games. He's just playing awesome right now. I like this game a ton. I like these two a ton.
Yeah, same. Agree.
Is there anybody else that you're looking at in this one? Because Griffin's going to be playing today. I could understand playing an Alex Len because he's cheap. It makes me feel dirty even thinking about it, but he has played 18-plus minutes in 4 or 5. I can understand it. I don't want to do it, though.
Yeah, I agree. Blake Griffin being in, this was announced probably 10 minutes after I was looking at the slate last night. So messed me up a little bit. I was looking at Jeff Green, Nicholas Claxton a little bit. But with Griffin in, I don't really want to get to any of those guys. So give me Harden and Westbrook, and let's move on.
Yeah, there's no Bertans today, so Avija. Okay, I could see him playing extra run and having a good game, but I'm with you. This game's about Harden and Westbrook for me, and I don't hate Kyrie or Beal. I'm just the problem with Beal. I mean, he doesn't do anything these days. This guy's got one steal over like the last 2 weeks, no blocks. He still scores, but he ain't doing anything else in the peripherals lately. And I don't know. This is more about Westbrook and Harden. I'm agreed.
Yeah, the only thing about Beal, like literally, is the ownership. I mean, he'll be lower owned than Westbrook. That's the only thing I can think of to make me like Beal over Westbrook.
Yeah, I actually saw him as higher projected ownership today already. I don't know if I agree with that.
Westbrook is 10-7, Beal is 9-3. I mean, I could see
And
that.
shooting guard eligibility.
Yeah, I could see it for sure.
So, but I'm with you. I like Russ a lot more. Okay, Toronto at Cleveland. I actually think this game has got some sneaky DFS appeal, and that's the hardest part about this slate to me is I'm like so like excited about Westbrook and Harden, but there are other good plays that are very affordable in some of these other games. We take a look at Toronto. Like you got a Fred VanVleet at 7,600. I can understand why anybody be interested in him. I don't think I can make him a priority today, but there's other guys on Toronto. We got OJ Anunoby, who's only 5,300. He played 34 minutes last game, so they didn't exactly take time easing him back in. He played well. I don't think he's out of play at this price tag.
No, he was the guy I was looking at from Toronto. Sounds
Okay.
like you might like this game a little more than me. Not that I don't like it. There's no way I'm going to use like Van Vliet's or Lowry's or Sexton's over Harden and Westbrook.
We got Siakam at 7,200 coming off a monster game. It took him a little bit to get going. He wasn't very good in the opener against Detroit. He balled last time out. Only 7,200. I mean, this is a guy who's been like 8 to 9K for most of the year in a crush spot against Cleveland. We got two teams in a plus matchup right now.
He's the guy.
Siakam and Anunoby both listed for me, and they're forward eligible.
Yeah, I'm about it. All about those two plays. I'd love to get up to Siakam, but no problem going to Anunoby or going to both.
And then the Cleveland guards aren't in a bad spot. Your boy Garland, it's hard to get here because he's only shooting point guard eligible, but he's been playing good minutes and playing really well lately. He also in a plus matchup against Toronto. So I don't know. I can't picture myself landing on Darius Garland, but him and Sexton to me are also two guys that are in play right here. Sexton has shooting guard eligibility, only 7K today.
Yeah. I think that you're 100% right. He's in play. Both those guys are in play, but man, I'm not sure I can get there.
I agree. And everybody liked Nance last game. That's why he was like 90% owned. The rebounds didn't follow him. It was weird. Like Stevens and Wade had like 23 combined rebounds and he only had 4. Some days the ball just doesn't fall to you.
Yeah, he wasn't very aggressive. I don't mind going back there.
Yeah, I probably won't get there at 5,800, but I do think this Toronto-Cleveland game is going to have a buttload of honorable mentions with Siakam at 7,100 being a guy that I'm interested, especially because like Toronto needs wins. What did they lost? Like 500 games in a row now?
Yeah, they do need wins.
They're starting to go full Houston.
Mm-hmm. Not quite, but yeah, I get your point.
All right. Houston can get their first win today, too. That'd be kind of exciting for them.
Yeah, I saw they're nice favorites.
All right, man. We got Detroit against Chicago. This is another game. I think it's going to be filled with honorable mention players for me. If you just want to take a look at the Detroit guys, I think DeLon Wright is wildly in play at 5,900. I will say something right now. You were right. I was wrong. You're good looking. I'm unattractive. Your mustache is amazing. My beard's terrible. Frank Jackson is a terrible basketball player, but he did go 5 for 5 last game, and he 10x'd. So you were 100% right, and I was 100% wrong.
I just said he was in play. He does suck. He's not good. I'm not going to use him here, so thank you for that. My favorite piece from this whole game, I'm like off the Detroit guys. They got too many guys playing minutes. Like I think you can take a shot on like Stewart would be my favorite. They just got too many guys right now, in my opinion.
Or the red hot Sadiq Bey.
Sure, no problem there. My favorite piece from this game is going to come from the other side, Thaddeus Young.
Okay, and just to reiterate, we brought up with Stewart. He's kind of starting to eat into Plumlee a little bit. He's just like a young guy who's, he's got some DFS upside. He's kind of pricey, but at 4,400, I expect 20 to 25.
He is eating into Plumlee. Not even like I watched their rotation last game. Plumlee started, obviously, played until a couple minutes left in the first quarter. And then Stewart and they did their rotation and Plumlee didn't come back in until like 2:30 left in the second quarter.
Yeah, Plumlee's a guy who's on the wrong team right now because I think he's an admirable center to play 15 to 20 minutes a game in kind of a backup role for somebody, and he just isn't. He's not good enough to be a focal point like he is in Detroit, but he's old enough that like he's wasting away in Detroit, where they're like 33 years away from championship. I don't know. He should be a backup center for a good team. He would look good on the Lakers right now.
Yeah, I mean, he took his money though. It's crazy that Detroit paid him. I just don't get it. As far as Thaddeus Young goes, like I'm interested here now in the starting lineup. He's playing well. My biggest thing and why I don't like Chicago, just played an overtime game in Denver. That being said, I mean, Young is playing really well right now.
Also, Chicago's pushing for like a play-in seed type of thing, and they've said that they've come out and said like this is something we're trying to do, and respect to them. It's weird that like this is another guy like he's way more my speed than yours just by the predictability of his game log. I mean, that is replicable as replicable can be. This guy has been between like 28 and 35 in like every game in recent memory with a couple just above. I'm on board if he fills up. He's not a must, but man, I love high floor plays like that.
One thing that does bother me a little bit that I didn't even notice, like that game was an overtime game and he only played 28 minutes, which is a little weird.
Yeah, I don't think he played in the overtime.
Which is a little weird.
Yeah, I don't think he was out there if I remember correctly. So the other guy from Chicago who knocked the dust off last game and played really, really well was Otto Porter. They started featuring him in the down the stretch in the fourth quarter. He outplayed most of the other Bulls. Zach LaVine took over in overtime. But until that, it was Otto Porter's game. And the funniest part about watching this game, because I watched most of Chicago against the Nuggets on Friday night, is we had two Porter Juniors. And if you weren't watching, if you were playing on your phone for a minute, you couldn't tell which one it was.
Hilarious. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, I remember a slate a couple days ago with Otto Porter, Michael Porter Jr., and Kevin Porter Jr. on the same slate.
Porter Jr. is everywhere. So I would say at 4,500, Otto Porter's a look. Like, they want him involved in this offense, and he's dirt cheap. And if we're spending up at guards, like, I'm on board right here against a bad Detroit team.
I'm on board too, but I do think it is a little bit risky. Like, he probably played the overtime minutes.
He did play the overtime, but he was out for a long time, so they've been monitoring his minutes. He ain't playing 40 minutes today, guys. He's just not. But I think we're good for 25 here.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm not going to say it's like a lot because they got a lot of guys. And like, if he's not playing particularly well, I don't think that they're just going to like force him out there. They got guys right now.
Sure. He's also their highest paid player, which just seems crazy to me. So I know they want to get him involved, but you're not wrong. Like, they got Markkanen, Thaddeus Young, Zach LaVine, Kobe White, Shataransky, Wendell Carter. They are loaded with like B- players. Yeah, exactly. So Markkanen's another guy. You want to take a shot in GPPs? I'm on board. He's really cheap today.
Well, the thing about Porter, which is why I can get on board with him, he's the cheapest. Yep. So, like, I don't particularly like him over the others, but he's a lot cheaper.
Also, like, their best player, Zach LaVine, real Bradley Beal-ish type of game log last time out, 32 points and only 40 game points. Like, he was chilling most of this game as Porter and Thad Young and a couple other guys played really, really well. He's really cheap today at 8,500. Now, the problem with Zach LaVine is the exact same thing that you just mentioned with Otto Porter is he doesn't have to do everything. Now that they are loaded with, with most of their guys back with Markkanen playing and Otto Porter and back, like he just doesn't have to do everything like he did for a bit.
No doubt about it. And I don't know. I just don't love Chicago. Bless you. I hate that they played that overtime game in Denver. Like, I get why they're in play, but I just don't think I'll land on any of these guys, except for maybe Porter if I need it.
Yeah, Porter for the cap space. All right, moving along. There's a lot of good plays on this slate, guys, and we're getting to another game that might have some, potential intrigue right here. Now, Philly, New York is a game that screams like defensive matchup, but we have no Joel Embiid. And in all the potential right here would come from the idea that maybe Ben Simmons is out again today. I expect him to play. It was kind of surprising he was ruled out yesterday. I was pissed because I love Ben Simmons, but then it allowed me to go to Shake Milton, Danny Green, and Tobias Harris, who are all awesome. Hard to speak on this game until you know what's up with Ben Simmons. I expect him to play, but I don't have any real reasoning behind that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'll say this, though. Like, if he's out, I don't think, like, and I know we were talking about this before, like, I don't think Harris is a locky on this slate at, like, close to 9K against the Knicks.
Well, no, because he's playing the Knicks today and not the Kings.
Yeah.
We were talking beforehand, and, like, I updated everybody, like, Harris is a lock of locks for me yesterday, and then when I saw he was only 30% owned, I was like, huh? I'm like, he only played 30 minutes. He lost his fourth quarter run. He's going to be a huge focal point. I still think he's in play, though, because he is the focal point, him and Milton.
He's definitely in play. He's just not a lock on this slate when I want the expensive guys from Washington, Brooklyn.
Yeah, I gotcha. You could
That's the
check
only
out a Tony Bradley if you need some cap space. He played well yesterday, played good minutes.
Sure. I mean, this game is hard to speak on for sure right now, just because the Philly guys and plus the New York guys. Like, what's up with Quickly?
I don't know yet. I don't know. They have no point guard at this point. I have no idea what they're doing. Alf could be back today for all I know.
Oh, yeah, he's finally listed as questionable instead of doubtful, so that's a good sign. And I'll say this, like, New York is priced up now, like the Barretts, Brookses of the world.
Yeah, I'm not really trying to get to any of the New York guys today.
Same.
If I were to play any, well, no, Mitch Robinson's probably coming back today too.
And Taj Gibson just doesn't do anything. Like, if you need the cap space and love your roster, I don't hate it, but
yeah,
it's
only if like you love those guards and you need a 3,300 power forward, and at least he's out there. But
maybe it's the day he gets 20. I mean, yeah, I'm with you.
All right, next up, Dallas against Portland. So what's crazy here is Luka should be a lock, but he's not because we have Westbrook and Harden.
There's no way I'll play Luka here. Like, no way. And I'm not saying like he's a bad play. I'm just I like the other guys more.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you, but there's really no reason. I'm with you. Like, I like Westbrook and Harden more too, but like that's part of me that has to step back and be like, why? Doncic is on fire.
Well, I'll counter your why with why not. I mean, listen, like all three of them are great plays. Like I don't think whoever you didn't play, and I get it, Luka is Luka, but for me, like, I don't know. These teams just I completely get going to Luka. I think he scores right around what Harden and Westbrook score, to be completely honest. So if you like him, do your thing.
I'm with you. I like the other guys too, but that there is the part of me like, the part of me is like, did you fall in love with them because it's the first game?
I didn't know.
I'm asking myself that.
Yeah, I know that. I'm saying I did not know.
One, Luka's hot, averaging about 69 DK points over his last 3 games. Also in a crush spot against Portland. He did whatever he wanted against them last game. He got all of his rebounds at the end of the game. 1 rebound, 1 assist away from a trip dub. Would have rolled right back into 70. He's just as good of a DFS player, if not better than those guys. So I don't know what the ownership is going to be on these 3 guys today. I have interest in all of them, but I want to play Harden and Westbrook. So it's like I'm trying to rationally talk to myself if that's the right play.
I mean, I just like those other guys more. And that's not to say, like I said, that Luka's, I mean, of course he's not a bad play. Let me see something about, yeah, I mean, I will say this about Luka. Like, he might be lower up. I just can't see, like, Westbrook getting a lot more love than Luka. I just can't see it.
Agreed, except for that it's the first game. And if you chronologically break this down left to right like we do, it's a little different. Like if I just started looking from the top down at point guard, I feel like I would be torn more than I am because I looked at the first game first and went left to right. I'm like, I love Harden and Westbrook.
I mean, yeah, what's not to love about those guys? Like, this is if I could pick one spot to play like Harden and Westbrook, it might be Washington, Brooklyn with these guys against each other. Like, I don't know. I'll say this, like, depending on what value comes out, like, we've seen the triple stud be in play. Like, I mean,
it's going to be hard to do with all 3 of them only point guard eligible, but I would love to roster all 3. I would love it.
It'll be extremely hard because of what you just said. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like absolutely undoable with guys like Taj Gibson.
There's something about the way that Portland seems to like Derek Jones Jr. when he's playing with like CJ, because all of a sudden now his minutes are back up after they had fallen for a long time. And I think it's because they got a second scorer now, so they don't need to play Melo as much. So they can get him in there for his defense. Yeah. I don't love Derek Jones Jr., but he's 3,800. He's played 30-plus minutes in back-to-back games. There's a correlation with CJ, it looks like.
Yeah, I was actually looking at him a little bit too, so I can get on board with that.
More than anything, guys, he's forward eligible, which, based on our love of the point guard position today, that's more desirable.
For sure.
All right, man. So big news in the NBA yesterday. LeBron is out indefinitely. So We get in our first game of the Lakers, at Phoenix, and there's definitely two schools of thought right here. One, the Lakers could struggle because they just don't have a lot of talent today. Or two, I know something you always love is teams' first game without their star. Now they're missing both stars. No LeBron today. I think there's a variety of Lakers in play. A point worth noting, though, is they are devoid of talent now, and we don't know exactly what the rotation is going to be against a tough matchup in Phoenix.
So I actually think both those points hold true today. I think that they're not talented enough, and they probably lose this game by a good margin. But there's a lot of these guys are so cheap that I'm going to use them in DFS anyway. Specifically, Caruso, Markieff Morris, and Taylor Horton-Tucker. All three of them, I think, are almost locks for me, especially with wanting Harden and Westbrook. None of those guys are point guards. Caruso's got shooting guard eligibility. And the other guys like Schroeder, Harrell, and Kuzma, they're kind of pricey, especially Schroeder. So there's no way I'd go to Schroeder. I get Harrell, but just not really a price I'm looking at. Kuzma I also like, but not sure how much with him being the guy in a not great matchup. Like, give me those three value plays. I think Markieff Morris is going to be a little over-owned, but that's okay.
Yeah, he's power forward eligible at sub 4K.
Exactly. Give me Morris, Caruso, and Horton-Tucker. With those three guys, you can fit Luka, Harden, and Westbrook with those three. Not saying that you'll have a lot to spend on your other two, but you're not over the cap with those guys, I don't think.
Well, let's check it out.
I don't know. It sounds like you kind of feel similarly about the Lakers.
Well, you and I have had this discussion a million times on this show, right? Going to be damn near impossible unless you find 2-3K guys. Or you're going to have to go cheaper than Horton Tucker, which is not easy to do.
No, it's pretty much impossible. So yeah, you're gonna have to decide between two of those guards no matter what, because there are also other good plays on the slate. You're using your utility now, which really hurts because what if we get Shake Milton in play or one of the point guards for the Knicks? I don't know.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, you could have especially if you feel like the Lakers get rolled, you could throw in a Damian Jones. You could play Thibault at small forward if Ben Simmons is out. And then here, I don't know who you're going to play that you're going to like. Probably nobody, but I'm sure something might be able to come up throughout the day.
The one guy that's getting run down here, and you're not going to like it, is Isaac Bonga.
You're right. You're not going to like it.
He played yeah. Listen, I can't play him, but
he's terrible, and we don't know that he's going to play for sure.
There aren't even many guys here that are getting PT though, so I don't know. I don't think you can K here.
Well, you can get real weird with it and play an Alfonso McKinney for the Lakers, especially if you can tell yourself the story that the Suns, who should be motivated to win today, come out and play really, really well. And you could play an Alfonso McKinney and a Damian Jones. That's risky because those guys could easily give you 6 points combined off of 6K.
No doubt about it.
So I'm with you. I love Harden, Westbrook, and Luka, but I think you're cutting off your nose to spite your face right here. And you're going to end up with just a whole bunch of crappy guys based around it.
Agreed. And I'll say this, just touching from the Phoenix side, one guy I'm looking at that's playing really well, Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, you had 2 monster games against the T-Wolves, or at least one. I didn't check his second game. Yeah, 2 really, really good games. Look, I can't go here for 5,600, but it is worth noting that he is playing very, very well right now.
Yeah, he's playing well. I'm with you. I probably won't get here either, and I'm not going to spend big money on the Phoenix guys. Not that they're expensive, but not where I'm going to go.
No, I'm with you on this one. So, again, opening game, we love the 2 point guards. That's the other thing. I love Luka as well. But if you want to get off of a Harden, Luka, or Westbrook and only pick 2 of them, we got Pascal Siakam, OJ Anunoby. From Cleveland, you're going to have, both of those guys are in play. Move over to Chicago. We got Thad Young. We got Otto Porter. Detroit, we got the backup center. Philly and New York, tough to speak on it. We just don't know who's in yet from the point guard position with Ben Simmons currently listed as questionable. We don't know about Quickly and Elf and everything like that. Love Luka. We got Derrick Jones Jr. I don't know. Other guys from Dallas. Hardaway had a big game last game. I didn't understand why he was getting projection love, but he was a beast last game.
Agreed. One other I was just going to say one other in this game specifically. Again, called him out on the last slate, Cameron Payne. And I do think the more looking at the after talking this out with you, Siakam looks like a borderline lock for me.
Yeah, he's very cheap.
And like Payne is getting the backup point guard run, so like he's under 4K on a slate without a ton of good value.
Yeah, but he's only point guard eligible. You're not going to be able to get there.
Well, I don't think I'm going to use Harden, Luka, and Westbrook, all three of them. So I have my utility available.
Fair enough. I tend to agree, though, again, going back to the Lakers. Like, I can see Trez with a big game. I'm really worried about the Lakers today, though, too, because this is not an easy matchup either. This is not like when they took on the Kings the other day without LeBron before the All-Star break. And, it was kind of more of a crush spot. Like the Suns, who are also very motivated to keep winning, they probably see this as their opening to lock in the 2 seed.
Agreed. I mean, they also played yesterday, too, the Lakers did.
Exactly. So, like, if this thing's not super close, you could see a whole bunch of Trez, Kuzma, and Schroeder not playing deep into this game, prepping for the following week without their superstars, and giving run to, who are some of these Lakers that might play today? Like Jones, as mentioned. Gasol might be back today as well.
Yeah, and I'll say this. Like, that's the case for fading Morris. Like, I think Caruso and Horton Tucker are more locks for me than Morris because of what you just said.
Especially if Gasol's back.
Yeah, for sure. Because Morris will lose run. Like, he'll be one of the first to lose run, I think.
Yeah, there are other guys too, Wes Matthews and KCP. I'm not interested.
I don't want these older. Like, I want Caruso and Horton Tucker. And Morris is playing well and he's under 4K. So he's, on my short list. But really, Caruso, who's like close to the minimum, and Horton, guys that I'll probably just lock in.
And I like Horton Tucker substantially more than Caruso. He's just a much better DFS player.
He is, but Caruso's like close to 3K shooting guard. I expect him to get like 20 here, so I'm good with it.
Yeah, I think Horton Tucker, especially like if he's starting, could play 30 minutes and give you 30 points. He's my favorite Laker, above Markieff Morris and anybody else on there, especially if starting, because they don't have a lot of ways to produce offense right now. As much as I love Trez, he can't create his own shot, so it's really like on Schroeder and then Horton Tucker to like create offense. Caruso will have the ball in his hand a little bit and run into a few points, but like Horton Tucker is one of the few guys left that can get his own shot on this team.
I see Caruso and Horton Tucker, two of the top 5 highest owned guys on the slate, which is no surprise. Montrezl Harrell on there also is number 3. So
tell yourself a story on this game.
Man, Porzingis getting a lot of love early. I don't really get that one.
Yeah, I don't believe it either. I saw that this morning, and I don't think so. Like, one, why would he be higher owned than Siakam?
I would never go here over Siakam personally.
2, he's playing not well. I've watched enough Dallas this year. Porzingis has very little bit that's inspired me to ever put him on my roster, period, point blank. Like, he's not getting, like, these 8 block games just aren't coming out of nowhere. He's not, rarely been on fire from 3. I know he had a good game against Denver a while ago, but he has been so uninspiring.
Agreed.
So give me Siakam over Porzingis, easy peasy.
That's not even a question for me. Like, I agree.
I'm with you. Who's a better player? If you were drafting right now, you were one of the 30 GMs, and second round's coming around. You got Siakam and Porzingis right there, and you're trying to build. Who do you go with?
It's a good question. I think I'm going with Siakam, though. I don't know. I just like the cut of his gym more. I feel confident he's going to play more games. Porzingis' upside, their ceilings might be a tick higher, but I don't even think that much. So give me Siakam, just more. I don't know. I just think he's a safer fit to be around in 5 years also, even though that's not really your question. You know what I'm saying. Did we freeze? Did we freeze?
Yeah, we did. Well, it's going to pain you to hear this, Bellman, but I 100% agree with you. Your answer is exactly what mine was. I think the ceiling of Porzingis is higher than Siakam just because of his, he can be a dead-eye shooter. He is bigger, right? He's a little, but I'm with you. I'm not surprised at all in 5 years if Siakam is the 20th best player in the NBA, perennial all-star, and Porzingis is, on his second Achilles injury or whatever it might be and just not in the league.
I think the allure of Porzingis is kind of worn off, at least for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, he's been uninspiring this year. So he walks into his points because he's tall and he gets his boards and he hits a few shots. But I haven't seen a game from him for a while where I'm like, he could be the one on a team. Not saying that I see those from Siakam. I trust him more to be there in 5 years and to be, like I said, the 20th best player in the NBA.
There's no way Porzingis can be a number one on a team. I mean, Siakam can't really either, but
Porzingis not a good team at least.
Yeah, exactly. Porzingis, he can't stay healthy enough to even on a bad team be a number one. So I don't know. I think that he's still got value in the league, but not as much as he once did. That's for damn sure.
Well, he could be the one on my rec league men's team. We might actually win a game this year if he played.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Good luck today. Enjoy all the basketball. We got college and NBA all day long. Go win yourself some cash, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.